It's an inventions bench which is basically inspired by Mr. Wonka because he was such a fantastic inventor, from things like sugar-coated pencils to invisible chocolates and square sweets that look round and all sorts of things like that. So it's really to get the children to look at the world in a different way and see how things that we take for granted today, like vacuum cleaners and things like that, started off as something as simple as a carpet beater. Well, basically this is how we make a visit to the gallery really cross-curricular when the school trips come here, because we weave in things like sound and light into Dahl's stories. Like here we've got the BFG sound organ, and we get to explain to the children how the sound works using the organ. Because you just press down on the pump and they can play a tune with it, and then we explain to them how material, shape and size of objects will affect the sound it makes and compare it to musical instruments. The children's favourite. Again, we get to explain the simple principles of sound to the children, just using something as simple as the bell, by showing that if they tap it, it makes a sound, and that they can feel sound, and that all of their senses can be engaged by something as simple as music. This is our peach from James and the Giant Peach, and in here you can make things bigger just like the peach did in the story, because we've got lots of lovely carousels which has got lots of tiny little things, head lice, and my personal favourite, the bed bugs, which is always nice to tell the children that little creatures like this exist, as well as getting to shock them with lovely things like rat poo. In Matilda's library we've got all kinds of facts and pictures of Roald Dahl all over the walls and all over the ceilings. We've got pictures of him from when he was a baby. We've even got copies of his school reports, where his teachers claim he has very little ability and is inclined to be childish. Roald Dahl hated his school days, and he would often write back home to his mother, where he would call himself Boy, which would be a title of one of his later autobiographies. Roald Dahl had his own special place for where it came to doing his writing, in his writing hut at the bottom of his garden. It was such a private, special place to him, he actually told his children that there were vicious wolves living in there. The only time he ever let someone in there was when he forgot to shut a door, and a goat got in and did a poo all over the floor. Then he very kindly let his wife in to come and clean up afterwards. The hut was very special because on the table that you can see on the bottom left-hand corner was where he kept a lot of his special objects, things like his hip bone, a model of the hurricane that he flew during World War II, and a huge ball of metal which was actually the wrappings from many, many chocolate bars that he'd eaten over the years. Glittering eyes, the whole world around you, for the greatest secrets are always hidden in the most unlikely places. Those who don't believe in magic will never find it. Well, I've now used Mr. Wonka's chocolate television machine to shrink you. You are now the same size as my thumb. And if I was really mean, I could squish you right down. Or I could be nice again and send you off to a desert island. Just a floating head. It's always great fun to do this to the children's teachers. But it's all right. I've been to the body shop and I've got you a new body. Mrs. Twit made Mr. Twit wormy spaghetti after he put a frog in her bed. Then to get back on Mrs. Twit for that, Mrs. Twit put her glass eye in his beer mug. To get back on her for that, he made her think she was shrinking by adding tiny little bits of wood to the end of her walking stick on her chair, so she thought she had the Incredible Shrinks. And this is all going on whilst they're being just as cruel to the birds and the monkeys, so really they got their just desserts. Because that's one thing Roald Dahl was very into, is making sure that the good got what they deserved and the bad got what they deserved.